I've known Elmer since 84 or 85, before you were born. And I met Elmer in a space and time that no one has talked about, but Elmer had a voracious appetite for the truth. And he extended that appetite into spiritual, metaphysical, mystical, medical. He stopped nowhere and would put up with nothing that was not the truth. And one of my favorite memories of Elmer is him saying to me, "Why would you think like that?" So I subjected myself to a great friendship at that point in time until he passed. And when he passed, he was my best friend at the time, my best male friend. And I would come here, Nancy, I would come almost every week, and we would sit and talk for a couple hours. And we talked about things that most people don't talk about. Ancient American history that's way, way out there. Space beings, UFOs, you name it, we covered it. And that's because I too have that interest, and we spent a lot of time doing that. Elmer was, when I first met him, my first thought about Elmer when I met him was what a nice guy. I had to kick him out of a room that was needed for somebody else. There'd been an overbooking at one of those metaphysical events. He's, no problem, I'll just stay in my RV, which he had brought with him. And then I would attend everything Elmer would do here in Yelm, every lecture he would do, everything he did. And he taught me so many things, and I too am on my 7th or 8th career. So we had a lot in common in that regard. One of my careers was solar energy, and Elmer was, of course, a better electrician and electronics guy than I'll ever be. He was brilliant. He loved me. I loved him back. And when Nancy called me that Monday, I said, no, this can't be, because I'm scheduled to be here Monday. And it was just very sad. I miss Elmer so much. I gave a piece of paper, 3 pages of paper. One of the last times I saw him, he said, "You need to read this book." I said, "Okay." He said, "It's over on the bookshelf by this author." I went over there, came back with a book. Not that book. Okay? Came back with the right book. That's the book, 700 pages of a fictional book. I said, "Okay." I never not read anything Elmer would say. Like, at one point I remember him saying, "You haven't read Seth?" Well, Seth speaks, in channeled information kind of thing. And so I read this book, and I made a list of most of the things he highlighted in the book. It's 3 pages. We have it here. You could look at it if you want. But what you'll discover if you look at that was that Elmer's real focus, at least in the last days of his life, was compassion, kindness, joy, happiness, giving. He was my mentor. He was my father's substitute because my dad had died years ago, and he was also my best friend. And I really miss him.
Thank you. Thank you.